The phrase jump the shark comes from the show Happy Days, where the character of Fonzie, played by Henry Winkler, literally water skis over a shark, like jumps a shark with water skis on. And the phrase itself being used in modern culture, I had to look this up. It comes from the radio personality back in 1985 named John Hein, H-E-I-N, I don't know, basically commenting on the ridiculousness of this episode of Happy Days. And the phrase jumping the shark is used to describe a creative work that's kind of lost its sense of purpose. It's lost its original ideas. It's starting to veer into ridiculousness territory because the work has become disconnected from the ultimate mission of what it is there to do. And I believe that AI is kind of a shark jumping moment for the tech world. So why am I talking about this? First off, this is Double Negative. This is a photography YouTube channel. And AI, I think, is a constant anxious topic in the minds of photographers right now, because photographers already feeling like they're in a world that's shrinking around them, already feel somewhat insecure about kind of their place in society at the moment, are also looking down the barrel of being replaced by AI. And Threads, once again, 2 times this month, Threads has put out a controversial thing that has gotten me to comment here on this YouTube channel. So good for Threads. Great job. So Threads maybe is gaining some cultural relevance, at least in photographer world, which I kind of think photographers are the only people that use Threads. But anyways, that's just what it feels like. But the reason I'm talking about this is because of a post on Threads that Meta did yesterday. And I'm just going to read it here for you, and I'll put it on the screen. It's so brazen. It's so offensive. And I'm not a full anti-AI guy, but this kind of really pissed me off, to be honest with you, or just shocked me, I guess. But basically Meta posted, POV, you missed the Northern Lights IRL. That means in real life. So you made your own with Meta AI. And then they post photos of landmarks like San Francisco Bay Bridge, Vegas, the Santa Monica Pier, all with Northern Lights over them. Basically saying, you don't need to go see the Northern Lights for yourself. You don't need to go take a picture of them. You can just imagine them in Meta AI. And the comments are aggressive, I gotta say. I mean, I didn't expect anything less, but the comments are aggressive. A lot of people commented. I commented. I don't usually throw out a lot of negativity, but I couldn't help but think, like, I hate this. This is so crazy and brazen of a thing for the creators of the database that almost all photography is viewed through now. Like, most people experience photography on Instagram, which is owned by Meta. And not only are they saying, hey, screw you photographers, you can make your own photo of the Northern Lights, but those images are, let's be real, created by feeding their AI our images. We have been posting our images on Instagram and Facebook for the past couple decades now, and those images that we posted and I gave up some of our rights to in some way, I mean, it's a free service, so there's a cost somewhere, but we gave our images up, and it's using our images to teach AI how to, I don't know, not need us anymore. And that is incredibly frustrating, and also just like wild that they're just saying the quiet part out loud. It's a huge middle finger to everyone who uses their platform day to day to share their images. But let's be real, photographers are used to having society flip us the bird. I mean, we've been kicked in the nuts about 700 different ways for the past couple decades. Like, we are kind of used to that. We're used to feeling not very valued. But I actually think that the more offensive thing to me about this whole thing is not so much that AI is just making images. I don't know if I care about that because, I mean, for one, the images aren't very good. because there's no context or story or human experience behind them. But I think the thing that bothers me most about it is that Meta just said, hey, you didn't go out, set up a tripod, take a photo, hold up your phone, whatever. You didn't go out and see them for yourself, the Northern Lights. You didn't go out and capture them for yourself. You didn't stay up late. You didn't experience, the cold night air. You didn't do any of that. So guess what? Good news. You can skip all that and just make it. Just type in what you want, and there it exists. For what? Like, what is that for? How does that help anybody? And so when I'm saying the tech industry, or the parts of the tech industry that are heavily investing in AI as the future of everything, the reason I say it jumps the shark is because throughout this tech boom we've had over the past, most of my adult life at this point, with the iPhone and Facebook and Instagram and social media and TikTok and all the different apps, Uber, all that stuff, these have been tools that have taken some friction out of our daily lives, some friction of some important thing. They've offered us a new tool with which to live our lives in whatever we're trying to accomplish. Uber gets us to and from places cheaper and easier, right? But we're still going to the places. Like when I call an Uber, it's just a little more convenient and a little more frictionless than calling a cab, right? When I use my iPhone to check my email, it's just a little easier than what it used to be, which is going home, booting up my giant PC, waiting for it to start up for 10 minutes, and then checking my email. And I can do it anywhere, right? Facebook was just a great way to keep up and share images without having to put stuff in a gallery or, send letters to friends or, whatever. You get what I'm saying. Basically, all of these tech things that have revolutionized our lives over the past few years, we're taking a piece of life and just making the living of life easier. It was just taking obstacles out of the way. Now, what Meta is saying with this post, which again is wild, it's saying, hey, you don't even have to live anymore. You don't even have to live life anymore. You can just have an image of the Aurora Borealis by typing it, with none of the human joy of the process or experience to come with it. You can just have it. Well, I don't think any photographer in this modern world is doing what they do, whatever genre you're in. But there's pain involved in photography, and I don't think any photographer is going through the pain of capturing the waterfall at Yosemite, or of doing elaborate portraiture, or running around New York doing street photography. The fact is, no photographer is doing what they are doing 100% for the result. Yes, we love images. We love the satisfaction of seeing an amazing image that we created. But the reason that satisfaction exists is because we put in the work and effort and lived through the process to get to that point. And if the middle part's gone, the part where we're running around the streets of New York taking pictures of strangers, the part where we hike up a mountain to take a picture of a landscape, the part where we set up strobes and lights in a certain position to get a really cool effect on a portrait, if we skip that part and just get to the image, no one's interested in photography anymore. Photography is dead, straight up. It's all about the process. And the tech industry, say what you will about some of the tools created, they were helping make the process a little easier, a little more frictionless, but they still weren't obliterating the process entirely. There's a simple reason for that, because if you obliterate the process entirely, it's over. The game's done. Like, what is the point anymore? There's no point. So what you do when you say, hey, type in whatever you want to see an image of, and then you have the image without any work. Well, the interesting part's gone now. The interesting part of creation is gone now. And the problem with that is that no one really wants that. Meta has jumped the shark. ChatGPT has jumped the shark. Well, yes, I'm pro AI for getting me to where I'm going. I'm pro AI for making some things that were hard easier. Like, I like some of the AI stuff Photoshop's done because I don't have to spend an hour trying to select the sky in order to alter the color or fix parts of it. I can hit a button to remove power lines. Like, those are things that I used to spend a lot of time doing and a lot of time brushing out. And I love that AI makes that part simpler. But the point of doing this, the whole point of art making for me is not editing out power lines. That's just a step I have to deal with to get to where I want to go. And it's not that important of a step. It's just a step that is essential. So if you can make that part easier so I can focus on the part of the process I really want to focus on, then great. AI is great. Maybe AI has given me a tool of making something that, could add to my work in some way that I couldn't do before. That's great. But for AI to replace the entire process for me, like if I were to say, hey, come up with a cool double exposure on a Polaroid of the woods and then a blonde female that resembles my wife, Anna, and it just spits out an image, then like, what have I done? Nothing. What am I doing? I think AI as a tool to help us be able to focus on the important parts of the art making process that we really want to focus on and get rid of some of the drudgery associated with that. I think that those types of AI are successful and will be successful. Topaz Denoise, Topaz Gigapixel, Photoshop, tools that allow you to replace a sky, allows you to, just does things easier, right? Makes things easier. But none of those tools replace the whole photography process. And I think those tools, I think the minutia of AI, where AI can be a plug-in in a larger process, will be hugely successful. But I think this type of AI where we just create images out of wholesale and skip the whole process, I think that is doomed to fail. And now I grant you, there are plenty of charlatans and grifters on social media that will, use AI to make images that they claim are their own photography or whatever. It will be used for ill, maybe used for ill more than it's used for good in some cases, to just create images wholesale like that. I don't know, but it's hard for me to see the value in something that is the nail in the coffin to all of human experience. We love the process. We need the process to survive. That's what we care about. That's what we're in it for. And when we lose our connection with the process, that's when we get depressed. That's when we get anxiety. That's when life starts to fall apart. That sounds crazy and dark and whatever, but like, it's all about the process of everything. And if you don't enjoy the process, if there's no meaning in the process, then there will be no meaning in the final result. This is what photographers do. This is why photographers exist. Yeah, we love images. We love creating great images, but you can't divorce that final image from the road it took to get there. Like, shout out Noah Kalina. Noah Kalina takes a picture of his face every single day, and he's been doing it for years and years. Well, he's probably got enough right now that I'm sure he could feed it into some sort of AI that would predict how he ages, the pattern of his aging day by day for the next 50 years. There is probably some form of AI that could exist or may exist now that could predict how he's going to age and could finish the job for him. And he wouldn't have to take another picture of his face a day for the rest of his life. And it could just guess based on all the data he's already got. And yet he still takes a photo of himself every day because it's not about just getting it done. If it was just about getting it done, then number one, this world would be even more depressing, but no one would be an artist. No one would be a photographer. It's not about the result. It's about the doing. That's what it's always been. And so as long as tech has invested in helping us be better at the doing part, that's when tech has been successful. But they keep putting out these commercials for Google Gemini and all this stuff like, hey, you don't have to write an email anymore. You don't have to read anymore. You don't have to do anything anymore. You don't even have to go outside to see the comet flying across the sky because you can just generate it in AI. Just stay inside, watch Netflix, never do anything again. That's what it promises. And maybe, you know what? Maybe I'm too optimistic about this. Maybe society will embrace it. Maybe that's just where we're going to go. But it's hard for me to see the middle part dying because humans just, that's not what we do. We're not designed that way. We are designed to do. We are designed to make. We are designed to create things. And we create things. Yes, we need results, right? To maintain creating things. But that's not why we do it. It's not where the purpose comes from. That's not where the meaning comes from. The meaning comes from the making. And so when Meta says, hey, screw you, photographers, you don't need to go out and take a picture. Just type it in. Hey, just imagine it. And Meta will make it happen. Utilizing all the images that you gave us, by the way. This is all trained on images that you gave us, that I gave them. I'm not sure how that's a successful business strategy, straight up. And maybe they're so big, maybe that's just, there's no stopping it. There's no stopping them. And I certainly can't do anything about it other than rant into a camera about it. But it's just, I was shocked by how brazen, disrespectful, for one, and just boldly saying, hey, this is where we're going. Boldly just saying, we've lost the plot. Like, Meta has lost the plot. And maybe in Mark Zuckerberg's galaxy brain, he sees all, he knows all, I don't know. But it's jumped the shark. Tech has jumped the shark. And I just don't think it will work. I don't think it can work. And if anything, if it does become a thing where people are just like, instead of picking up cameras, they're just imagining images. Instead of going to the movie theater, they're just typing in a movie they want to make into an AI and it spits out a movie with Superman and Iron Man in the same movie. If that's where we're going, then I will tell you there will be a significant counterculture to that. And it will be passionate and it will be angry and it'll probably make some pretty cool stuff. So I don't know. It's gross. It's gross. I don't usually get inflamed about AI stuff because, I don't see AI making stuff that great. For a company like Meta, which, I mean, it's not shocking. They're a cruddy company. They treat people like crap. So, I mean, it's not that surprising. But for them to say, hey, we used all your images to create our AI, and now we're saying, hey, screw all of you. We have an AI now. Like, wow, it's bold, but it misses the point. It all misses the point. Making images whole, like, the suffering is part of photography. It just is. You can't have a satisfying photography experience without a little bit of pain, without a little bit of suffering. And if the next generation is just gonna, imagine whatever, then maybe we are screwed. I think if anything, this just shows that we have to double down on finding meaning in what we're creating. Like, if you're a landscape photographer and your soul has been crushed by this whole AI thing, which I feel like a landscape photographer is probably feeling this the most because that's the thing that the AI more easily creates is landscapes. Really think about why you shoot landscapes. Really think about what you're doing out there. What is special about it to you? And what part of the process you can share with others that will get them excited about the stuff you do? What kind of story you can tell with landscapes? Because I think just showing up to a waterfall and posting it on Instagram, it's number one, your photos of waterfalls are what they're feeding an AI. So, it just is what it is. But like, I just don't think that's enough. I think there has to be something more in all of our work that we have to be putting out there, a piece of ourselves to everything we do. And I just think there's more need for actual meaningful art more than ever because we have this $1 trillion industry so invested in getting rid of all meaning in life. That's what they're doing. That's what the tech industry is doing right now. They're trying to remove meaning from our lives because they want to optimize everything, because they are a bunch of soulless androids, quite honestly. At least they want us to think that. They want us to think they're a bunch of soulless androids who have figured out how to optimize life to make it as efficient as humanly possible. But humans, hate to tell you, humans are not efficient creatures, and we don't really want to be. We want to do everything the hard way. And the point of life for tech people, for these tech androids, these dullards who are out there imagining the Aurora Borealis, they're invested in the results. That's all they care about. That's all they were taught in school, is to care about the results. Humans, unfortunately, I think care the most about the process. And all those tech people, I think they also care more about the process. I think they love doing what they do, and they love the work that they're doing every day to get to the result. But I don't think there's a disconnect somewhere along the line that's creating this, and it's not good. It's not good for sure. But you know, who am I? I just suck the heads off fish. So I just walk around my Polaroid. I shoot one every day. Spend too much money on it, too much time, and I talk into a camera in my wooden office. So. But if you want to hear more from me, you can follow me on Instagram at Will Malone. You can follow my Polaroid Instagram account at Everyday Instant. And yeah, thanks for listening to yet another sermon about something that has angered me on Threads, which is becoming a thing. Listen, I'm all for Threads feeding me content ideas more often. It makes my life a lot easier, but then kind of not, because I just get anxious and mad about it, you know, and just yell about it. I called tech bros dullards in this video. Got pretty intense. So anyways, I will see you soon.